keep it 100 because it's time for Hub's Huddle Podcast. Listen to the man that talks sports from football to basketball 24/7, 365. He is known as the average Joe that knows more than average about sports.
What's up, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Hub.
What's up, everybody, man? Hey, we coming off of Super Bowl Sunday. Today is Monday, February 4th, 2019. And what a game last night. You know, you guys know I am a New England Patriots fan. This was a great game as a football fan. This was a defensive matchup. You know, these two defenses, man, you got tip your hat off to Wade Phillips, you know, for coming out with his plan. You got to tip your hat to Bill Belichick and Brian Flores, you know, for their game plan. This right here was a defensive matchup, man. And you know what? If you don't like a defensive, you know, type of game, then, I mean, you are really like, you know, you're really missing out on the genuine of the game. You know, this game, man, defenses win championships. And last night, man, you seen that. You know, these dudes, this New England Patriot team, they delivered the best defensive game of the entire season, you know, for them. They shut down the number 2 offense in the NFL to just 3 points. Now, think about that. Now, you look at, you know, weeks ago, you know, middle of the season, you know, they went to war with Kansas City in Foxborough, 43-40. Turn around. Now, that right there was the number 1 offense in the league. You know, you turn around. Here's the number 2 offense in the league that they played in the Super Bowl. They limit these guys to 3 points. Different style of play that they had to play in each of these games. Even in the AFC Championship game, you know, they had went back and forth with Kansas City in that game as well to pull it out in overtime. But this game yesterday, man, was simply amazing, man. Let me get down to the stats. Let's start with the Rams, man. Jared Goff, you know, he went 19 for 38, 229 yards and 1 interception. Todd Gurley, he had 10 carries for 35 yards. He averaged 3.5 yards per carry. He really looked like he was still, you know, favoring that knee in this matchup, you know, but the kind of guy that Todd Gurley is, he would never, you know, come out and say that he wasn't 100%. You know, if he was well enough to put on the pads, you know, that dude, you know, he is one of the best running backs in the league. You know, also, CJ Anderson had 7 carries for 22 yards. He averaged about 3.1 yards per carry. And Robert Woods had one carry for 5 yards. Receiving wise, you know, Brandon Cooks led the way. He had eight receptions, 120 yards, off of 13 targets. Robert Woods, he had 5 receptions for 70 yards off of 10 targets. Josh Reynolds, he had 3 receptions for 28 yards off of 7 targets. CJ Anderson, he had 2 receptions for 12 yards off of 3 targets. Gerald Everett, you know, he was basically like shut out in the game yesterday. You know, he had 1 target. I mean, basically, he wasn't really involved. And the same with Todd Gurley, he wasn't involved really as well. You know, he had two targets, and out of that, he had one reception for minus 1 yards. You know, this game right here, man. You know, this Rams defense. You know, they did have a takeaway. You know, actually, yeah, they did have a takeaway with Corey Littleton in the beginning of the game. It was like Brady's first throw was an interception. You know, this Rams defense, man, the Patriots, man, they only gave up 1 sack, but they got the pressure, man, especially in the run game. When we first seen this game start, man, it was, you know, like the first play of the game for the Patriots. You know, they tried to run the ball, and I think it was Sue. Man, he lit up James Devlin, and I sat there and I was like, man, it's gonna be one of those kind of games, man. You know, let's take a look at the Pat stats on this one. Tom Brady, you know, wasn't his best game in, you know, a Super Bowl setting, but, you know, he was 21 for 35, 262 yards, and he threw an interception. As you say, his first pass was the interception. Sony Michel, man, he put in work, you know, this whole postseason, man. This dude had 18 carries for 94 yards and one touchdown. You know, he averaged 5.2 yards per carry. You know, Rex Burkhead was right behind him with 7 attempts for 43 yards. He averaged 6.1 yards per carry. Julian Edelman had a carry for 8 yards. Cordell Patterson had 2 carries for 7. James White had 2 carries for 4. And, you know, Tom Brady with the sack, you know, minus 2 yards. You know, and then the receiving games, you know, Julian Edelman, who was named the MVP of the Super Bowl. You know, he had 10 receptions, 141 yards off of 12 targets. Man, it's like they really couldn't stop that guy. Rob Gronkowski right behind him with 6 receptions and 87 yards off of 7 targets. You got Rex Burkhead, you know, with two receptions for 15 yards off of two targets. And Cordell Patterson had 2 receptions for 14 yards off of two targets. James White, you know, 1 reception for 5 yards off of 4 targets. Chris Hogan, you know, no catches, but he was targeted 6 times, and Sony Michel was targeted twice with no receptions as well. You know, this right here, man, defensively, man, they came up big in the moment when they needed it. Stephon Gilmore had the interception that pretty much was like almost the end of the game right there. It kind of like sealed the deal. This Patriots defense, man, these dudes were balling. They had 4 sacks on Jared Goff, you know, led by Dante Hightower. Boom Tower came in there with 2 sacks. Kyle Van Noy had a sack, and also Jonathan Jones. This New England defense, man, this New England defense, this was the best New England defense that we've seen all year. You know, these dudes laid it out for 60 minutes. You know, it wasn't much of an offensive game for both teams. It was basically just defenses, man. These two teams, their defensive plans, man, they came out, you know, and they did their thing, man. And they got to a point where it was like 3-0 going into halftime. And, you know, just sitting there just looking at the game, just saying like, wow, this is really a defensive matchup. Both of these teams are grinding it out. You know, it got 3-3 in the third quarter, and it didn't break open until, you know, the one pass from Brady to Gronk, you know, that got him down on the 1-yard line, and then Sony Michel ended up punching it in, you know, for a touchdown. And also, man, it was a huge play on defense by Jason McCourty. You know, the route was broken. Brandon Cooks was wide open in the end zone. Jared Goff threw it up, and Jason McCourty come out of nowhere and bats the ball down. This was one of those plays where you sit back and say, oh my goodness. You know, you sit there like, oh my goodness. Like, yo, that was one of the plays of the game, man, because the coverage was broken. Brandon Cooks was wide open. I don't, you know, I know Jared Goff was under pressure, but, you know, he could have threw that ball a little bit earlier, and that could have been a touchdown right there. You know, but man, credit to Jason McCourty on that one. You know, for recognizing, you know, Brandon Cooks was in the end zone by himself. You know, he went full speed down there and you know, batted the ball away from Cooks, man. He didn't allow him to make a clean reception on the ball. You know, and then, like I said, like the big play on defense was, you know, the Stephon Gilmore interception. The Patriots, man, they them dudes were balling on third down, man. They actually was getting off the field and allowing the offense to get the ball back. It's just that the Rams defense was also responding as well. You know, led by Aaron Donald and Sue. You know, they got the pass rush on Tom Brady. You know, they did make him fumble once. You know, New England did recover the ball. But, you know, this right here, the intangibles, man. Like, yo, these guys, man, like the Rams, you know, Brady found the weakness in the Rams, you know, defense, and he utilized Julian Edelman. There was times that they doubled Edelman. Edelman still seemed to get open, and that's how he, you know, basically like a workhorse all night last night. You know, no touchdown, but he did have, you know, a huge chunk of yards, and he ate up that Rams defense. And it was like Tom Brady just threw to one guy all night, except for, you know, the pass over there to Gronk, which led him down to getting the only score in the game by Sony Michel. But you know, offensively, this probably wasn't, you know, the best Patriots offensive performance because of, you know, the strength of the Rams defense. And that's where you got to give the credit at too. And for people out here, man, that, said that the game was boring. And, obviously, like I said, man, people, man, some people don't understand the game and the nature of, watching two great defenses go at it. This was a battle of all defense. People, man, if you wanted points, sometimes you're not going to get that. Everybody, a lot of people wanted the, 38, 34, back and forth games. But, last night we got an old-fashioned NFL game, low scoring, defenses, coming to play, coming and giving everything that they got. Offenses just, couldn't get it together. They couldn't get it rolling because of the defenses was just so overwhelming. It was times in the game where we looked at Jared Goff and people say Jared Goff is folded. We look at Jared Goff, man. Hey, listen, this dude right here, he is a good quarterback. And just last night is just, New England defense, man, they showed their hand after 15 seconds was left on the clock. So that means the coach and the quarterback can no longer communicate with each other. The coach and the linebackers cannot, communicate with each other on the other side either. But the game plan, the experience showed last night with the Patriots and the Rams. Jared Goff just looked real puzzled to me, in my opinion, because New England was just setting up into their sets after 15 seconds. So it threw off the whole, momentum and everything of the Rams, because Jared Goff was like, normally if the defense already in the set, you got McVay in your ear and basically telling you, to check out of this and to get into a better, play. So everything was left up to Jared Goff to make the plays, and he just couldn't deliver nothing last night. So shout out to that defense in New England. And that's where people need to give the credit to, instead of just saying, Jared Goff folded, Coach McVay, he folded. You got to give credit to where credit's due. That New England defense, Bill Belichick, Brian Flores, these dudes, man, they have, put together a defensive masterpiece last night. That was phenomenal. And just to watch that for 60 minutes, and they kept the same momentum for 60 minutes, even after losing Patrick Chung, after Patrick Chung went down, I sat back and I was like, man, that might be a huge blow. But steps up, Delaware's own, Deron Harmon, from Cesar Rodney. He came in the game, and it was like the defense still didn't miss a beat. These dudes were putting the pressure on Goff. They were in the backfield, got a couple of sacks, 4 on the night for these guys. The pressure was crazy. They was flushing Goff out of the pocket and forcing him to make, throws that, it wasn't, looked like it wasn't going to be completed. Stephon Gilmore, Devin McCourty, Jason McCourty, even seen flashes of J.C. Jackson in the game. These guys, man, they played a heck of a game. Like I said, man, the Rams defense came to play too, man. Talib, Peter shut down Chris Hogan. He put a blanket on Chris Hogan. Dorsett, this dude was shut down too. Like I said, the only workhorse out there was Edelman. Gronk had 7 receptions. He had his touches, and he had the biggest play of the game. The one that got him down to the 1 yard line, for Sony Michel to punch it in. The same thing with the run game. What I said in my podcast on Saturday was that, I felt like, I had the points wrong. I thought it'd be in 20, I think it was said 27-34, but also said that this game would be won in the trenches. It'll come down to the Patriots offensive line against the defensive line of the Rams, and which it did. These dudes was getting mad pressure back there. They just couldn't get the Brady. They got to him once. But other than that, when the offensive line when the team really needed it, and the offensive line delivered for the Patriots, is when they sprung open Sony Michel for a big game. And then on the same drive, they sprung open Rex Burkhead. This was when it was, I believe it was 10-3, and the Patriots was driving down the field to end up kicking a field goal to make it 13-3. But that offensive line, man, they really came through and delivered, man. So hats off to the Patriots. This is their 6th Super Bowl title. So now they're 6-3 in Super Bowls under, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. This right here, man, was a phenomenal game, defensive game. People will tell me, well, you only said it was a good game because it was it was the Patriots winning. That's not necessarily true. You know what I mean? Like, for one, like I said, I am not a casual fan, so I don't just, watch the game and just because it's my team, they're in the game and they win, no matter if it's, a low scoring game or not. I like watching defenses. And I'm the first one on record to basically say that, that Rams and Chiefs game from early in the year, I wasn't a real big fan of it. I mean, it was a lot of points, but it was just basically like, score. You had a couple of defensive stops, but, where was really the defense at in like the whole game? And it was just too much points, man. But a lot of people was looking forward to that, It was just a heck of a game plan. They had to come up with some type of game plan. You gave Bill Belichick 2 weeks to prepare, and this is what you got. Basically these guys outcoached, Sean McVay, and hey, it is what it is. But this Rams team, man, they're going to learn from this. It's still a young team. They're going to learn from this, and they're going to bounce back. I wouldn't be surprised to see him back in the Super Bowl next year. As far as New England goes. Hey, New England, Tom Brady, of course, he said there's zero chance of him staying. He's going to be there. Rob Gronkowski said he needed a few weeks to decide what he wants to do. I'm more on the fence. I'm not really sure. I would like to see him back, but I would understand if he does wants to retire. You got 3 rings. You've been beaten up over the years. It depends on where he's at mentally and physically if he's going to come back. Same thing, you got Devin McCourty talking about he might retire, if they won this year with his brother. This is a special moment. First time twins has ever, won a championship. Brothers on the same team win a championship, let alone being twins. So it's a lot to think about there too as well. But as far as like the rest of the whole cast, the same nucleus is coming back. We don't know about Gronk, but you still got Edelman, you still got Brady, you still got James White. On the defensive side of the ball, you still got Patrick Chung, who they lost in the game. Deron Harmon has been, phenomenal since he's been in, New England. He's always the guy that come up with the interception at the right moment when he is in the game. You still got the linebacking core of Van Noy and Dante Hightower. And also, they got a possibility of getting back Josh Gordon, which is the reports is that he is doing well, in the facility down there in Florida. And also, man, they have 12 draft picks, man. They got 12 draft picks this year, man. So, are they going to draft another quarterback to take over for Brady when Brady's done, or they're going to fine tune up some of the errors on defense and also on offense that they need to fix. It's a lot of things to look forward to, or they might even make like a trade for somebody. You never know. New England could very well be back there again next year for the 4th time, and this right here, this train is still moving, people. At this point, like I said before, man, on my Bias podcast on a Friday night, I was telling folks, man, I'm like, listen, we all got to stop being biased about this, man. You can hate the team and dislike the players, but at the end of the day, you got to give them respect for what they're doing. This team has been doing this for the past, 18 years. These dudes been contending for 18 years. It's 2 of those years they haven't been in the playoffs, and that was, the 2002 season, coming off the first Super Bowl win, and also in 2008, the year that Tom Brady got hurt, the torn ACL, first play of the game in Kansas City. Those are the only 2 times that they missed the playoffs. During this whole run, man, this right here is a historic run. This dynasty has been running for this long. This is probably the best dynasty in sports. You just gotta start giving them respect, man. You gotta put respect on Bill Belichick, man. Like, these dudes, man, is just a well-oiled machine. Kraft, Belichick, Brady. That right there is the heartbeat of the New England Patriots. Until, Belichick moves on and Brady moves on, this thing can still keep going. And, like I told people earlier, man, I said, you know what? If you don't like it, the way these dudes are running things, you need to call your owners, get a petition together and tell them to get their teams better. that's the bottom line, man. I'm looking forward to next season to see what's going to happen. I'm looking forward to the, all the off-season stuff, with free agency, with, the draft coming up. I just want to see what's going to happen with every team, with all 32 teams. It's a lot of teams that can get better. You're looking at the opening odds already at Vegas. You got the Chiefs already a favorite at 6-1. You got the Patriots and the Rams both tied. Both Patriots, Rams, and Saints are tied at 8-1. To win the whole thing. It's just going to be a very interesting, year. It's going to be season 100. 100. This is going to be, phenomenal. I cannot wait to see what's going to be in store for this coming season, to kick off the 2019 campaign of the NFL season. So, that's it for me tonight, guys. Just want to break down the Super Bowl, big win, great win for New England, very, actually this was their widest win margin of all their Super Bowls. They won by 7. They covered the 2.5. Like I said, hats off to the Rams. They had a phenomenal year. There's no doubt that they will not be back. There's no reason why they will not be back. Congratulations to the New England Patriots winning their 6th Super Bowl, tying, the Pittsburgh Steelers. So now we see, what's going to happen next. Who is going to be the first to get the 7 rings? Is it going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers, or is it going to be the New England Patriots? Or maybe, both of these teams just going to stay at 6 and some other team just jump up. The Cowboys sitting there with 5, and you got the 49ers sitting over there with 5. Jimmy Garoppolo's coming back. The Dallas Cowboys, we really don't know what's going to go on with there. Jason Garrett, basically he's playing for he's going to be coaching for his contract this year. We don't know, what the situation is. Got to look at what the situation is with Amari Cooper. Ezekiel Elliott wants to get paid as well. So it's things going on with the Cowboys as well that we got to look at as well, too. This is going to be, this offseason is going to be very important, man, for every team, to try to get into the playoffs or try to get back to the Super Bowl or, hey, these next couple of weeks is going into, I know the combine is starting soon. We're going to see all the new prospects, man, get all of, all these guys coming out of college and see what everybody's made of and everything. Then we moving on into, getting into free agency and then on to the draft and, all the owners meeting, the coaches meeting, the changes in like the rule books. And before you know it, man, we'll be back in July. We'll be back in training camp and getting this thing ready to roll for preseason all over again, starting up in August. So I'm looking forward to it. Also, we got the Alliance Football League. This is going to be starting soon, starting on the 9th. So this is going to be something interesting and new to look out for. So we actually get more football, so we can watch out for it, man. But I'm going to be talking about that as well, in the upcoming podcast. And also, I'm going to be shifting over, fully into NBA. Like I said, man, NBA really, like it's stale, but then it's like, once football gets done, it really starts to pick up, man. Got the trade deadline coming soon with the NBA, and we got more boxing. We got a big fight in March between Earl Spence Jr. and Mikey Garcia. Of course, I'm going to break down that one, but that's right there is it for me tonight, guys. I thank you all for listening. Congratulations once again to the New England Patriots. Yes, I am a New England Patriots fan, and I have been basking in glory all day long. Because trust and believe, man, living around here, this Philadelphia area, you're being like, a misfit because you're not a Philadelphia Eagles fan. You don't cheer for none of the Philadelphia teams. It's Boston Celtics for me. It's New England Patriots for me. Even if I had to rock with baseball, it would have to be the Boston Red Sox. And for hockey, it has to be the Boston Bruins. So, hey, it's Boston all the way around for me. But, just living in this area, man, you been catching it since last year when the Patriots lost to the Eagles. Now the Patriots are back on top. It's just a wonderful feeling. When you walk around with your Patriots gear on, people just look at you, mean mugging, faces frowning. It's a no sweeter feeling when you're on Facebook and you got people that have been trolling you all year, losing to the Lions, losing to the Jaguars, the crazy miracle in Miami, losing to Pittsburgh. Then at the end of the day, you're sitting on top of the world champions. Greatest feeling for a fan. I know the players, they're on a whole nother level, man. Let's just get forward and looking forward to next season and seeing what's going on with all 32 teams. Like I said, never biased. Call it like I see it. It's been a heck of an NFL season. So like I said, that's it for me, guys. Thank you all for listening. To all my new listeners, welcome to the show. I appreciate you guys. Continue to listen. Continue to share this. Continue to tell your friends, tell your family, anybody's related to that, anybody's interested in sports. Man, let them know about my podcast. Tell them to keep rocking. My fan base is growing. I appreciate it. If you out there, follow me on Instagram at Hubs Huddle. I'm on Twitter at Hubs Huddle. I am on Facebook at Hubs Huddle. Follow me. I'm on Podbean. Follow me on there if you are a member of Podbean. Follow me on there. If you're on iTunes, subscribe to it. Like it. Send me a review. Same thing with Google Podcasts. Same thing with Spotify. Same thing with iHeartRadio. You basically just Google Hubs Huddle Podcast. I'm coming up everywhere. Continue to keep rocking with me, man. Until next time, man. Y'all be safe and have a blessed night. I will catch you guys over the weekend for another podcast. Until then, it's your boy Hub, and I'm out. Super Bowl champion, 6-ring pickup. Ha ha.